Okay. Hi, I'm Asia, and I'm in Professor McNair's Lang 120 class. And for our second paper, we had to write a research-based op-ed, and I decided to write mine on Christopher Columbus. And I discussed why we no longer need a Columbus Day and why it's wrong to continue celebrating Columbus, knowing what we know about him now. And this topic's important because many people don't know much about Columbus's actions once he got to this hemisphere. They just know that he was here. And so for my project, after we wrote the paper, she wanted us to get creative and just do a presentation and show what we learned. So I made 3 posters in the media design lab that I feel like captured what I learned and what I'd like others to take away from my paper. So this is my first poster, and it shows a picture of Columbus, and it asks the question, am I willing to excuse genocide? And I really wanted to emphasize this question because one of the main goals when writing my paper was to get people to ask themselves questions about Columbus Day, Columbus himself, why do we celebrate him, despite knowing all the violence and terror he forced upon people. And then the hashtags, if you can see them, they say stop violence and end Columbus Day, which were 2 of the other main takeaways from my paper. And then my next poster, thank you. The second poster I made, it includes a photo of the Taino people, which were the native people that inhabited the islands that Columbus came to. And Columbus actually wrote to the Spanish monarchy about the people he encountered there, and so I added 2 quotes from a letter that he wrote to King Ferdinand, and it says, "Your Highness may believe that in all the world there can be no better people. They traded with us and gave us everything. With goodwill, they took great pleasure in pleasing us." I really liked these quotes in contrast with the picture I used. The picture is actually, it was a popular torture method that Columbus and other Spaniards used against the Taino people. It was, they would take 13 Taino men and burn them alive to represent Jesus and the 12 apostles. And then my final poster. You can see King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. They were the Spanish monarchs that funded Columbus's journey to the Caribbean, and underneath them there are some pictures of the Taino people. I put black bars over the eyes of the king and queen because just to represent how blind they were to the evils Columbus committed. And the Spanish monarchy also benefited from Columbus's crimes. All of the Taino men over 14 were required to give the Spanish gold, and they were basically taxed by the Spanish, taxed by people that they'd never met, and taxed by a country they'd never been to or heard of. I also wrote underneath it, "Open your eyes, imperialism is not progress." And I think my paper and the photos above depict why that statement is true. European exploration and expansion to other continents has only been beneficial to Europeans, and in Columbus's case, he received notoriety and fame for his discovery, and Spain's economy expanded, and they began sending more people to the Americas. All the Tainos received was a genocide, and women became sex slaves, and men and boys were sent over to be slaves in Spain, and they didn't really gain anything from it. It was just Columbus and Europeans that gained. And in doing this, I didn't want to just try and convince everyone to hate Columbus and prove why he's like such a terrible person. I just wanted people mostly to just ask questions and begin to open their minds, I guess, and think about like who we uplift here. So that's it.